Hey guys, what's up and welcome to a new Tesla update video. So today, as usual, let's go over the market, let's go over Tesla, and let's figure out what is happening so far and what we can expect moving forward within the next week, of course, being a substantial week with, of course, Tesla's earnings and just overall earnings really, truly beginning. So all that being said, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to hit that like button. It does help a lot. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. And again, my membership section is live down below for YouTube, right? If you're interested, $2.99, where I post essentially my intraday thoughts on Tesla as it's moving throughout the day. So if you're interested, the link is below. But all that being said, the market's closing in just a few seconds here. Tesla looking like it'll be closing at around $278 per share, which will be an increase of about 2.2%. Which is not too bad compared to the market. You know, it's slightly in line, maybe, you know, slight underperformance, but nothing too crazy. But the thing to note is the fact that it was underperforming the whole market for pretty much, all of yesterday and the majority of today. It only really started waking up back somewhere around, just barely in the afternoon, right? After the lunch break, maybe, who knows, but you know, that's where Tesla really started to finally wake up. And actually, it went from underperforming the market to kind of getting a little bit more in line with the market, which is, you know, a good sign to see. Now, the most important things to note here, ladies and gentlemen, as usual, is, of course, going to be the fact that we have, you know, obviously broke out of this flag that I've been talking about for quite a while, right? This little potential bull flag that I've been saying for almost like a week now, I feel like, or like half a week or something like that, right? We've been talking about this potential bull flag for, you know, that whole time and saying how, you know, there is a decent chance that as long as Tesla, in my view, doesn't fall below 265 to 262-ish, which is this gap fill right around here, as long as this rough level holds, it's a pretty damn good sign. You know, it's a good chance that it will rally upwards. And I did, like I said, buy the dip, obviously not the bottom here. I bought it pretty much right around 270. You know, is where I bought the dip, about 10% of my portfolio. And I've been pretty much just holding it since right on this candle. No, sorry, it was this candle. I actually remember it exactly. I bought it right on this candle as it touched the bottom of this channel. And that's where I bought it. Obviously, it went lower, but I'm not buying here again, right? That's just my, you know, that's the only money I'm willing to let run, right? With, again, 10% of my portfolio. Now, with that being said, you know, I am still holding it. I haven't sold, right? And I do plan on holding it. I don't plan on selling it unless we get into a level that I'll talk about very soon. But like I said, you know, we did break out of this channel, which is a great sign to see. And this bull flag, in theory, could potentially start playing out, right? Now, the one thing to note is the fact that as I was talking about in my membership section for a while now, to me, an important level to break, which we did break so far today, was around this 276-ish level. Because like I said, you can see if we zoom in a little bit more, a lot of wicks that were, you know, either supported or rejected pretty much right at this level. You can see a lot of touch points and a lot of rejection here, right? This ended up being the support that finally cracked, and then obviously went continued even further. So this is an important candle right here. But, you know, we came down, support, you know, rejection, then support. So this candle was a bit of an anomaly. But, you know, for the most part, you can see the majority of candles are dancing around this level and acting as a support and resistance. So to me, in my eyes, you know, a pretty crucial level. Now, we came up to a pretty, you know, important level once again, which is pretty much just shy of $280. Now, this is where you can see we had a lot of many more candles in this case getting rejected at this area, right? Whether it's 280 or like pretty much extremely high 270, so like 279 and a half, all the way up to pretty much all the way up as high as 285. Like this whole region now, this whole area is going to be a massive area of supply or supply. Yeah, I mean, that's just kind of, you know, that is going to be what it is, right? That's going to be how it's going to play out. I do kind of want to draw a better depiction of it here. If I can find where the hell that tool is. I think it's, no, it's definitely not here. Here, it's this one right here. So let's draw, we can draw a little bit of a better, you know, example of it right here. But you can see if you do something around the lines of this right here, let's actually move this over slightly. Right? So if you pretty much draw this right around like this, and we will stretch out a little bit more so you have a general idea. To me, this whole rectangle right now is a massive area of supply, right? This is an area where constant rejection. We came in there once and we actually got to the top of it, but then we got rejected, came back up, got rejected at the bottom part of it now, and now we're pretty much getting rejected right at that level again. So this is the next level now to unlock. Now, but again, the fact that we did break out of this bull flag, to me, in theory, for short term is a good sign. And it tells me that I think that we at least will kind of, you know, dance through this clouded area, probably to maybe even the topper part of it around 283-ish, 284, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if this is how it plays out. Let me just kind of lay it out how I personally think that, you know, there's a decent chance that it will play out. I wouldn't be surprised if one of two things happen on very, very soon, especially with the earnings coming up, maybe some jitters in the market, excuse me. But wouldn't it shock me if Tesla either comes back down a little bit to around 276 to retest it now as a support once again, as it's done several times, again, crucial level. Worst case in the bullish scenario for this to still rally further would be to come down and retest the breakout that we had of this bull flag, which will put us somewhere around 273-ish, give or take, right? That would be the kind of worst case bull case scenario, if that makes sense. Either way, one of these, I think I wouldn't be surprised if these play out, but as long as we do one of these and it holds, most importantly, and it holds and bounces successfully, is when I think either from here or from here, we will rally and continue our way upwards even higher, probably kind of, going through this turbulence right above us, maybe even going as high as 284. However, if 284 breaks, that's when I wouldn't be surprised if we come up to around almost about $290 per share. And that to me, around $290 is where I will most likely start locking in some profits or selling calls against the shares that I have. I'm not entirely sure yet. I'll have to see how it reacts and kind of what feels like the better decision when it happens right there and there. So that's kind of the main thing I'll be personally expecting. If we just completely crash from here, then I'll obviously be getting ready to buy that dip, right? So it's a win-win to me in either direction is the way I like to look at it. So that's kind of the overall way I'm personally eyeballing as of right now, because again, if we do come up to around that 290 level, right, it will be once again another retest, which it will be the third one actually, of this overall upward channel that we are still in, right? We haven't broken out of it yet, and we are at a pretty major inflection point, because not only will we come up and retest the overall channel, which pretty much will be around $290-ish, but we still have this overall red downward channel that we have yet to actually truly touch ever since all the way back here on April of 2022. So again, wouldn't shock me if we actually truly come up to, retest it and actually get close to it. This was pretty close, but I mean like literally like pretty much at it exactly. Also around $290 per share. So a pretty massive area there. And, we'll see how it plays out. We'll see what happens there, right? You can also see if we go back here, this kind of level over here of about 300 all the way as high as 315 is also another pretty major area of resistance that's coming up as well. So there's a lot of work to be done. Hopefully that's not too loud. There's some construction happening outside, but there's a lot of work to be done for Tesla to really continue rallying much further without some cool off first. I don't think this cool off was enough. I personally want to see more. That's just my opinion. And if we get it, I think it'll be a phenomenal buying opportunity, which I of course will be doing. Now, another thing to note, and again, this is what I talked about, very short term. Like this to me is extremely short term, right? This is like the next max 2 weeks. This move I just talked about up to 290. Now, the thing to note that's important as well, and I've talked about many times, is of course the absolutely astronomical bearish divergence that we are currently seeing on the daily. So keep in mind, even if we go to, let's say, the 4 hour, right, we are still seeing, of course, that, insane bearish divergence. And the thing that's even more concerning now is the fact that when Tesla was in the RSI levels of even right here, which are around 71 all the way up to like 72.5, right? Hopefully that's not too loud. I don't know if you guys hear that or not, but there's construction happening outside, right? But nonetheless, when Tesla was at these levels over here, you can see its stock price was somewhere between 279 to as high as 282, right? We're not far from it, ladies and gentlemen. We're not far from it, but the RSI here is still substantially lower than this level, even though we're not that far away in the stock price. So keep that in mind. We're setting up multiple bearish divergences here, which isn't really good to see. And this is more of a midterm price action thing. This is something a bit more midterm that I'd be eyeballing and being careful about. So keep that in mind, right? That's something to consider. Short term, I think it's bullish. Short term, I definitely think there's a pretty decent possibility of going up to 290-ish, give or take. Definitely don't think it's out of the equation. But after that, and once we start talking about the midterm, I think it's a little bit more bearish than bullish. I do think there will be a much larger cool-off period happening, which I think will bring us down somewhere around to this level over here of the low 200s-ish. 230, 220, maybe 215, something like that, right? Wouldn't completely shock me at all. Again, especially when you have some bearish divergences like this happening across the board, like it's pretty substantial in my opinion, right? We are, of course, at the top of the channel, a major inflection point that, who knows, maybe we'll just break out. I just don't think it will just yet. I think it'll need one more kind of, cool off period before that happens, right? You also have SPY, of course, at the top of its channel, kind of trying to break out. So we'll see what happens with that as well. Also some bearish divergences setting up there. Like I said yesterday on QQQ, pretty bullish candle for the most part in price action. So I wouldn't be surprised if there's more upwards movement. That's exactly what we got as well. Also bearish divergences you can see. So, there's a lot of things that are getting a little bit spooky here, and we're getting to a bit of an inflection point in the market overall. So I'd be very cautious about that personally, just my opinion, of course. But that's overall what I am seeing. The volume is still quite low, nothing too crazy, lower than the last 2 days, but that's not saying much at this point. So that's not ideal. The fact that we're rallying on this kind of volume, not the best thing in the world. That's, it's not super duper convincing, but like I said, short term, I think it's possible to go to 290. Medium term, I think we'll start the cool off. I think the bearish divergences will start playing out on the daily, the 4 hour, etc. And I think from there, it'll be a phenomenal buying the dip opportunity somewhere in the low 200s. Just my opinion, of course, could be higher, could be lower, who knows for sure. But from there, I think we'll get a beautiful bounce, and I think we'll continue and finally break above this red line, which I think is going to be exceptionally important. But all that being said, that's what I am seeing as of right now. Those are the main things I'll be looking at. We have the 21 EMA still playing catch up to us, sitting at about $260 per share now. The Bollinger Band is still getting pretty tight. The green is kind of converging away now a little bit as we're getting closer to it, but nonetheless, still overall quite tight. So we'll have to see how this plays out, but that's overall what I am personally seeing right now. So let me know what you think down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow. Peace.